classic matchup at this point. I've been on the stream, and if you guys are out there watching, you're excited. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be 4 rounds with a cut to top 4 today. Can't guarantee that the players will decide to play out top 4, considering we are on the shitty Christmas present armory kit. So not a whole lot of incentive. A lot of players will probably choose to split because they'll just split the packs. So if they just split the packs, then we'll do that when we get there. But we do have 4 rounds, cut the top 4. Lots of exciting action. Probably around at least 4 hours of gameplay of flesh and blood and games to bring to you. But yeah, while the players are shuffling up here, I just want to say both these players just recently Team Adventure Code Gaming. I'm excited to have them both. They both bring a particular set of skills that I think will help out our team quite a lot. Tom is very good at crafting deck building. Jimmy is very good at piloting. Teammate helping practice. Michael always running a Tower Star. Bring a lot of that to play team guys. To our team. Very excited about it. Start off with the round here. Just round number 1 is teammate versus teammate battle. Bravo, I'm excited to see if Bravo continues to do well. I keep seeing him pop up in the top 8. But it's just really I feel like people kind of understand how aggressive the Bravo wants to be. Or how pretty kind for Bravo, giving him a lot of really aggressive but also very things like that. He's a classic card. So final card Guardian never gets printed unless they ever ban it. I don't see that happening, but it could happen. But Bravo is just so disruptive, while also these 2 attacks that I named, Crippling Crush comes in for 11 and Spinal Crush comes in for 9. Now they're tall cards, so they're a little bit easier to block, but Bravo doesn't really let you block as efficiently typically as you want. When he really wants that Spinal Crush to hit, it's just going to activate that hero ability for 2 resources and just activate that hero ability and give it Dominate. You can only block with 1 card from hit. Tom was trying to shuffle Iceland into his deck, so but it looks like we are getting ready to start here. We did all our sighting on that. We still have to do the die roll. So I think you rolled a couple 6s there, and Tom said, "Yeah, you got it." So here we go. We are underway. Tom, let's see what Tom brought. So he actually brought a Famous Tunic, so he's going to start off taking that tunic up to 1. He also brought some Iron Hide Claws, the Storm Striders, and the Crown of Providence. Crown of Providence is such a huge into the game, I guess I can say that every deck is running, almost every deck is running. It does just so much. It always blocks with 2, so even that an Iron Rot times 2 is worthy of legendary stuff. Very least majestic. Tom starts off with Bravo's going to have kind of just crush the week, coming in for 7 damage. Now this is just damage against Tom, but Jamie's going to keep Tom on that clock. Tom is going to be able to block out quite a bit, but we actually see the pummel coming in. It's going to hit for 4. So 7. Yep, taking 8 there. Taking 8 and having to discard a card. Looks like he's going to discard one of those Aether Ice Veins. And we're going to go over to Tom's side. Now, Jamie noticeably does not have an arsenal right now. He did use up all his cards to pummel that Crush the Weak. Now, Crush the Weak is not so great of a Icelander hate card because it doesn't really affect their attacks too much. All their attacks are pretty big. So, but here we see the Aether Ice Vein coming in for 5 damage. It looks like we're going to prevent one of it. Then when the trigger goes off, we're going to use the 2 resources floating to pay for the pay 2 or discard trigger. And now we are going back to Jamie's side. We're going to take our teammate back up to 2. We're going to pitch that Crippling Crush. Pitch 4, and we are just going to swing a Nothos for 6. That's another thing that Bravo gets to have, is that a Nothos is just a really strong weapon on his team. So he's always threatening to get 2 cards out of Icelander. And a lot of times they're okay with blocking with 2 cards. Icelander can definitely function on their turn with just a 3-card hand now. The Waning Moon won't be as efficient on their turn, things like that. Waning Moon, of course, wants to be played on the opponent's turn. What card we want to get rid of? Do we want to keep the sink below for something a little more impactful? Are we going to see him sink a card here? You know, doing a channel like this, I don't hate it if he chose to do that. Again, Bravo is a go wide. I'm sorry, this is his all card. So the channel is a good. Pummel out of there, a pummel play. You pitch the heart out. Now, so you were able to actually for the you only had 6 damage. Take it. I think we're gonna see. Now we're on to have an Enlightened Strike coming in for, I would imagine 7. Yep, that's exactly what I see here. There's 3 modes on Enlightened Strike. Top first and plus 2 modes, so Enlightened Strike has a base of 5. Jamie's going to actually block with 2 cards, take 1 damage, and we know that Tom is actually the last card he's arsenaling is not an ice card, so it is just going to be a Sink Below. Now, a Sink Below is still a really great card to arsenal against Bravo. But it looks like right now we're just doing the a Nothos play just for 4. Tom going to block with 1 card. That's it. Just the Brain Freeze is going to take 1 damage. And Jamie is slowly chipping away at this Icelander. You know, Tom still has yet to find a Frost Hex. If he's even on the Frost Hex plan, I haven't seen it yet, but it looks like we're going to start with the Scar for Scar. 4 damage and go again since he is lower on life. And this is just one of the things that Icelander kind of does that people weren't, I guess when Icelander first came out, people weren't super expecting it. That's kind of how Michael Hamilton took the world by storm with it, is that there's just a lot of physical damage that actually comes from it, including this Wounded Bull for 8. Wounded Bull for 8. Wounded Bull, I believe, comes in for 7 base, but it gets plus 1 if you're using, kind of like Scar for Scar. Just like that, you know, breaking 12 damage on 3 blocks is actually not too bad. You know, a 3-card hand still representing 12. That's not bad at all. Still have the card in arsenal. Looks like we're just gonna Unmovable. The fact that Unmovable is even in the deck is just pretty insane. Hey, Fab Timid? Hey, welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, is the music still going? Oh, sorry. That was supposed to be paused. I can't believe I had the music on the whole time. Sorry about that. Thank you for letting me know. That should be stopped now. No problem. That was on me. I totally thought I hit pause on the royalty-free music, and I did not, apparently. So, thank you guys for letting me know. But we see another wounded bull coming in for, I believe this is for 7 damage, or 8 damage still, because Tom is still losing. So, again, base 7 pumped up to 8 because he is lower in life. But yeah, thank you guys for letting me know for about the music. Can't believe the whole start of the stream is gonna just be covered up by that music. No, but Wounded Bull coming in for 8 again. Just another unmovable, just unmovable. It's a card that like it's a blue, so it's I wasn't really. It is a blue, so it's not like completely out of the realm of possibility for Bravo to play that against Icelander. But again, these big D reacts. I guess if you know, because Icelander's on this plan where just all the attacks are really big. It's usually like one big attack, then Arsenal, blue ice card, things like that. It's not the end of the world. You just don't want to get caught, kind of like the guy at Worlds playing against Hamilton, where he Arsenaled a D react and Hamilton knew it. I forget how he like brain froze his opponent or something. Knew it was a D react and just never attacked him again. Got it stuck there the rest of the game. So it's just one of those things you have to be careful of against good Icelander players. So it looks like we are going to block, and we are not going to spend the resource to pump this up. Nope, just going to take the 2 from Anothos. And again, Jamie's just chipping down, and I haven't seen a Frost Hex from Tom's side yet. No Frost Hex, no Insidious Chill, nothing like that. Just a couple big attacks to try to keep it even. So I think this is going to be another... Oh, this is 5 and go again. So Tom choosing not to just go with the big damage attack on the E-Strike. Gonna choose go again. I think the last card in his hand was one of the free damaging attacks. So looks like Jamie's gonna give up 2 cards. Gonna give up that Thunderquake and the Pummel. Oh, and it just wasn't an attack. He just wanted to play out the E-Pot. And that is a big step in the direction of having that huge combo turn. Still no Frost Hexes though. Still no Insidious Chill, but does have 1 Amulet of Ice and has another Amulet of Ice in hand. I don't think Tom's in much of a hurry here. Jamie hasn't really put on too much pressure. You know, nothing crazy like this Terra Sunder that was pitched. You know, if that was played, that's a little bit more concerning. But instead it was pitched to throw out the Anothos for 4. We haven't also seen the cheeky play of playing like a Pummel on top of this to bump it really to 10. It's like a Pummel for 6, right? But we haven't seen that. Just the Pummel, the 1 Pummel on the Crush the Week. But here we go. There it is. The Pummel coming in plus 6 damage. Going to be for 10. Now Tom does have the Sink Below in Arsenal, so he is going to stop some of it. It's kind of what he was waiting for, getting as much value out of that Sink Below as he possibly can. Now Tunic going back up to 2. We're going to Tom's side. He just has another Scar for a Scar. The Scar for a Scar is coming in for 4 and go again. Again, Scar for a Scar, just such a staple since Welcome to Wraith. The original set, 4 go again. I think every hero played it back then, just because there wasn't as many options. But here we have the Aether Ice Vein coming in for 3. Now Jamie just has to give up a blue for this to not have to, you know, trigger the discard effect. And that's exactly what he's going to do. So Jamie's going to go into his turn, I believe, with 2 cards in hand. Still able to send an attack. Taking that Tunic up to 2. Just going to pitch a blue and a red. Swing a Nothos. 4/6 with 1 floating. I don't hate this play. This is actually pretty nice. That's a cheeky way to kind of stack your pitch. You know, you pitch cards technically 1 at a time. So if something costs 3, you can pitch the red and then you pitch the blue. So that'll make a Nothos its check to check for 2 things that cost 3 or more. That check is now complete, so it's now a 6, and he has the 1 floating because more than likely Tom's going to come in with some Arcane. So he's at least going to stop 1 of that damage, and he doesn't have to worry about like any kind of Frostbite shenanigans or anything like that. So Tom has a little bit of the combo in his hand. He has the Ice Eternal, but again, we have not seen a Frost Hex this entire game. And it looks like we're just going to play the second Amulet of Ice. Really ready to shred that hand as much as we can. And just a Wounded Bull. And looks like we pitched the Ice Eternal. I saw the hesitation there from Tom because he knows that's a piece of the puzzle to get there later on. But you kind of also just have to keep chipping away. And I did see the other card as a... I forget the name of it. It's the one where when you play it from Arsenal, you draw a card and your opponent can either pay one or not. And if they don't pay it, your next attack has Dominate. So here we see just another Terra Sunder being pitched for the Anothos. You know, not really threatening too much. Polar Blast. I don't know why that took me so long. I had to like rack my brain for Polar Blast. But yeah, so Polar Blast being played on Jamie's turn. Now he's not going to pay because Tom's not going to be able to attack, so there's no reason to worry about Dominate. But it does do two things. It triggers Icelander, so we're going to get the extra. The Frostbite is going to go on Jamie's side, so he has to pay an extra if he wanted to pummel, which I don't really see the pummel play being happening here. But it also is going to allow Tom to draw a card as well. And it looks like Tom is actually going to give up that Channel Lake Frigid. Again, I don't hate giving up Channel Lake Frigid as Icelander against Bravo because the channel just doesn't do as much as it does to other heroes. Like, you know, these really aggressive heroes. I like that they're keeping the Frostbite just on Jamie's side too, just flipping it over when he has it. That's pretty fun. But we are going to see the Fiendl's Fighting Spirit, another great card out of Uprising. This is 7 damage, and if you're lower on life when either you attack or block with it, you gain a life. And it looks like Jamie is not too worried about the damage coming in. He's going to give up a Crippling Crush. And I think we're going to see a big turn from Jamie. He has the Tunic counter. He has 3 cards in hand and a card in Arsenal. Looks like we're going to have the Zealous Belting. This is going to be 5 damage and go again because there's a card with more attack in his pitch zone than Zealous Belting's base attack. Now, a huge kind of gamble on this is, does Tom have the way to disrupt this turn? Because I think if Tom just blocks here and doesn't really disrupt the turn too much, it's going to be really tough for him to kind of come back and win this game. I think it's a lot of damage coming in. He does have an Insidious Chill. I believe he has another Fiendl's Fighting Spirit. Can't see the other 2 cards in his hand. I think one of them's a Lead the Charge, but I can't be 100% sure on that. Zealous Belting just being a 5 and go again. It has just been great for these like Bravo decks and Oldham decks, you know, especially when they have to go against things like Illusionist and they need to be able to kill multiple things in a turn. They didn't really have a lot of access to go again that was efficient for them, and Zealous Belting just became that card. Hey, Jay Lockwood, thank you, James, thank you. Get those Twitch subs in while we can. So here we see the Icelander activation is on the stack. The trigger from playing the Frostbite, I believe. A Cold Snap. So now we're going to let that resolve. We're going to play the Sigil before the Icelander resolves. We do now have a Frostbite. Jamie still has 2 resources floating, a card in hand. So we still have the Zealous Belting on the combat chain, waiting to see what happens with that. Is Tom going to decide to block it out? Looks like we might be doing that. If we block with the Fiendl's Fighting Spirit, it's not the end of the world. We are going to gain a life from it. I think not having a Frost Hex at this point is kind of disappointing for Tom. You really want 1 or 2 when you start to get to this really low, kind of scary point. But I think Tom still has some time, depending on what the other attack Jamie plans on sending, or if it's just a pummel, which would be pretty funny too. But or even if it's just an Anothos. Either way, I think even if Tom decides to block out here, he has a bit of time. And it looks like we are going block with the Ice Bolt and the Fiendel's Fighting Spirit. So the Fiendel's Fighting Spirit will trigger. We are lower on life, and of course when you block with it, you also gain the life from that as well. And it looks like we are going to pitch our last card to just swing a Nothos, and this will be coming in for 6 damage. And I could... Oh, and Tom is just going to take it. He is saying, I don't want to have to wait any longer. I want to start sending some damage out. He does have the Fiendel's Fighting Spirit, so he is going to gain 1, kind of negating 1 damage from that. The last card in his hand was an Insidious Chill, which is a pretty powerful card coming from the arsenal. Able to, you know, force those discards at inopportune times. Looks like Jamie's going to block with 2 cards on the Fiendel's Fighting Spirit. Keep his health at about halfway. Jamie's at Blitz level. Tom is a little bit below Blitz level. So just a Command and Conquer. First thing coming out. And like I said, Jamie has not given Tom the time to play these ice cards from Arsenal to a point where it really matters, right? And I see another Ice Eternal in Tom's hand, but again without Frost Hex, I just don't see it. And the Amulet of Ice is also not doing too much because there's no card in Jamie's hand, so there's no reason to trigger anything like Insidious Chill or Frost Hex, or I'm sorry, Insidious Chill or Amulet of Ice or anything like that. Just a whole lot of setup cards still, but just without that Frost Hex, that really is kind of the combo of this game plan against Bravo. And Bravo does this thing where he just puts you on this clock, you know. It's not the fastest clock, but it's a constant clock of just strong hitting attacks. You know, nothing's coming in for less than 6. You're giving up 2 cards or you're taking damage every single turn. Tom really thinking on this one exactly what he wants to do to block this Command and Conquer. Now the card in his arsenal is something he could just play. It is an Insidious Chill. He's not too worried, I think, about the Command and Conquer effect. It does kind of give away the game a little bit if he plays it. And I think it's just kind of wild that if he is on the Frost Hex plan, which I think he is, we just haven't seen it. We need to see those Frost Hexes in order to combo off on our opponent. Even just 1 at this point would be pretty good, but we are going to play that Insidious Chill from Arsenal. It's kind of signaling to me that Tom plans to take at least a little bit of damage from this. And I'm not really surprised on that, right? So he's going to give up 2 cards. I think one of them does block for... Yep, one does block for 2. The Polar Blast, I believe, blocks for 2. So yeah, we took 1, so the Command and Conquer does trigger, but of course we played the Insidious Chill from Arsenal using Icelander's effect to play it as an instant on our opponent's turn. And we just can't see one to save our life, but we do have the Sink Below, another Insidious Chill. We'll have to see exactly how aggressive Jamie's turn decides to be. It's another Zealous Belting, and this is a card that, again, just coming out for Bravo has just been huge. Of course, we play the Cold Snap. Jamie could pay 1 to unfreeze his arsenal, but he doesn't have an arsenal. And that is one thing that I think Jamie, having played this matchup so much, just understands exactly, like, hey, like, I don't want to give up. Oh, we do have 1 Frost Hex. We finally have it, so... But not having the cards that really get affected, you know, either using up all the cards in our hand to play around Insidious Chill or the Amulet of Ice, or playing our card from Arsenal, not having an Arsenal, things like that. Cold Snap just does nothing other than give you a Frostbite, which I'm pretty sure he was ready to play around already. Pretty sure he has probably like 2 plans. 1, if he got hit by like a Channel Like Frigid, he'll play the other card in his hand. Or 2, because it wasn't Channel Like Frigid and it was just a Frostbite, he might be able to actually play that card in his hand. So Tom could do something like pop Boots here to maybe try to give him more Frostbites on his turn. Try to stop that last card from coming, but does not look like the plan here. We are going to sink below. We hit another ice card. It's Insidious Chill. We are just going to pitch the last card in our hand. We are going to swing a Nothos for 6 damage. Tom is going to block with the last 2 cards in his hand. One of them being the... not the last 2 cards in hand. 2 cards in hand. One of them being that Frost Hex that we just thought was so integral to this plan, but... Tom's just going to tick up Tunic, Arsenal that last card, draw his 4. And it looks like there they are, and the Frost Hexes were all just stuck together. I'm kind of racking my brain here trying to see the win condition for Tom. I don't know if it's try to live through all the big attacks and just chip in, or I don't know. I think he needed to see those Frost Hexes a little bit earlier for that big combo turn. And Jamie with the 3rd Zealous Belting in a row. Pitching a red, then a blue, like we've seen him do the whole time with those 2 resources floating. He still has the Tunic resource as well. So a singular Frostbite's not going to do it here. But another thing is, it's going to be difficult for Jamie to kind of close out the game, I think, because I think anytime he would try to activate Bravo, that gives Tom a chance to respawn with a lot of ice. Trying to make it really difficult to both pay for Bravo and pay for like a big attack. But we'll have to see. Jamie's definitely in the driver's seat for... Jamie has definitely been in the driver's seat for most of this game. Tom going to give up the gloves and an Ice Bolt here. And then just an Othos for 6. You know, nothing crazy. It's just been pretty consistent damage. Pretty consistent. Just here's 6 damage, here's 6 damage, here's 6 damage. But it's been 11, and Tom's had to navigate around it this whole time. And there's a chance that I see Tom actually not choose. Yeah, choosing not to fully block this out. Gonna go to 3. It's currently 3-20. And what's really awkward is there's another Insidious Chill. What's really awkward is the fact that all the Ice Hexes had to go away. Drew them all at the same time. He does have the Ice Eternal, but it's not going to have that big follow-up damage. This is just a Command and Conquer for 6. Now, Jamie is probably, you know, threatening Pummel here in the sense that, like, hey, like, if you don't block this properly, like, again, it's not really about the destroy effect, but here we're going to see the Ice Eternal. This is a big risk for Tom, but he might have to do it here, because if he gives up too many cards, here and isn't able to block any amount of damage on this Command and Conquer, even without the Pummel. But even before that, Tom is going to trigger both Insidious Chills. That's 2 instances of pay 2 or discard a card. And this might be enough to keep him off the Pummel, because we are not in reactions yet. And it looks like Jamie wasn't even on Pummel. One of the cards was or maybe he might have been, but one of the cards was he wasn't even on Pummel. Just on Sigil of Solace and a Choke Slam. But, you know, you have to play it in a way that they have to respect this. And Tom is playing this quite well, I would have to say. You know, using his life as a resource, going down to 1. Just an E-Strike. I'm assuming we're going to pick draw a card here because we need that card in Arsenal. Yeah, so jumped the gun just a little bit, drew his hand. It's a friendly game between teammates, no malice probably there, but meant to draw the card because he was just going to draw for his turn anyway, because he was just going to send the E-Strike, but all good there. Probably going to Arsenal the last card. Didn't even get to see what it was. If I'm Jamie, I'm thinking I might fully send this. I've been watching damage. I think it's been clean so far. He might have paid the one, on the brothers in arms, things like that. So we will get rid of that chat as best as I can. So yeah, Tom's staying alive with one, giving up the tunic here. Still has a chance, still staying alive. Has a Heart of Fyendel. He's going to go back up to one. We have the Chilling Ice Vein. Gonna fuse it with a Cold Snap, a blue Cold Snap. That's going to go in Arsenal. That's going to trigger 2 instances of Insidious Chill. Giving up... Jamie has to give up 2 cards. Staying alive here. And an Aether Ice Vein Red coming in for 5 damage. 5 arcane damage. Jamie's only going to block... Jamie's only going to be able to block 3 with this with Arcane Barrier. And he has to give up the last card in his hand. He's down to no cards in hand. And we know Tom is going to have that Cold Snap in Arsenal ready to go. And Tom, you can see it. He's kind of, picked up just a little bit. There might be a bit of a, we might have something here. We might have a game going. Again, he was able to empty out his hand. Now, this Cold Snap obviously not going to do anything as far as, give him a Frostbite, but Tom is going to draw the card. He's just going to Waning Moon, come in for 3, and now it's 18-2. Jamie's going to get to draw his hand up. And now we go to Tom's actual turn, and I will say he probably doesn't, I don't know if he wants that Sink Below right now. Though I will say a Channel Lake Frigid sounds pretty spicy. Again, it doesn't affect him as much as it would like an aggro hero. Something like a Fi is much more affected by a Channel Lake Frigid than Bravo would be. Has so many blues in hand, so ready to go with that. Ready to go against that Channel Lake Frigid with all those blues. Just needs to send one big attack typically, but if Tom's able to do something to really affect this turn, but I don't really see it. Looks like we are just going to get a Channel Lake Frigid play. A Channel Lake Frigid play into a Waning Moon for 2. And Jamie's just going to block it with a blue, not take the 2 damage, have 1 resource floating. And we are going to flow the 1 card, and we did pitch the Sink Below. I had a feeling he did not want that card in hand. And Tom's deck is getting pretty low here. He's got to find a way to do 18 damage. Might even get to the point where it feels like Jamie might just deck Tom out. There is might not be enough damage. He blocked a Nothos for 6 with a Frost Hex. I think it was Frost Hex and another Frost Hex and something else that blocked for 2. I think it was a Polar Blast when I saw that back then, but he took 1. I think that's what I'm remembering, but that was quite a while ago. But we are going to see he's blocking with 2 cards here, blocking for 6, and we are going to see the Ice card coming out. And we are able to play the Waning Moon. Jamie able to stop a lot of that arcane damage, pitching away. And it looks like we already just went right back to Jamie's turn. And here we go. Rouse the Ancients. Rouse the Ancients is going to come in for 7 and go again. Tom really needs to find a way to disrupt as much as he can. That's just the name of the game. It's just how much can you disrupt. You really don't want that Anothos coming in for 6 as well. That's a 13 damage turn when you're sitting on 2. Jamie does have 4 resources to play with. Does Tom have a way to fuse? Maybe trigger some of these Aether Ice Veins? Or, I'm sorry, Insidious Chills? I don't think so. I don't think he has a fuse card in Arsenal right now. And it looks like we're going to block for 8 damage. using the Crown of Providence effect. We're going to cycle a card in our hand. It is a Frost Hex. And then just a Nothos. And yeah, we're just going to block for 6 with 2 of our spells there. Was a Frost Hex and another, and I believe a Emeritus Scolding. And it looks like this is not in a good spot right now. Tom actually has a Heart of Fyendel, a card that doesn't block, but it does gain a life when it's pitched. And it looks like Jamie's getting ready to pitch his hand. I don't know for what exactly, but I just don't see the avenue that Tom has right now with 0 Frost Hex on the field. And Jamie has to kind of be careful with that first action you take, because as soon as you take that first action, that gives the Icelander the chance to respond here. And it looks like we're just going to pitch 2 blues, come in with the Chokeslam, have 2 floating, 8 damage coming in. Something to note, Jamie does have his Tunic counter up that could help him play around some of the Frost effects this turn. 1 card in hand, 1 card in arsenal. Now, interesting enough, I do see a Brothers in Arms. That is a 4 block there. This isn't dominated. Looks like we're going to pop the E-Pot, gain 2 resources. This is all going to be in response to the Chokeslam. And we are going to pitch the Heart of Fyendel, gain a resource to play the Ice Eternal. We are going to fuse it. That will trigger the 2 Insidious Chills. So 2 Insidious Chills on the stack. So you either pay 2 or discard. He's going to pay the first 2 he had floating. And he has to pay another 2. He's going to gain a resource from the Tunic. Have 2 resources still floating, because he paid the 1 resource from the Tunic and pitched another blue. And he's going to pay the last 2. He's going to get 2 Frostbites. And we see the Brothers in Arms. Tom just have 1 floating, so we're going to probably see the Brothers in Arms actually block for the full 4 amount. So we'll be blocking 7. Yeah, still blocking 7 here. Take 1 from the Chokeslam. And Tom is just doing everything he can to stay alive. We go to Tom's turn. He's just going to arsenal that last card. Draw his 4. I think he's down to 1 card in deck. Interesting there. I don't think I've ever really seen an Icelander get decked since this version came out, but it looks like that's going to be what happens, because we have what, a D-React and 2 items in hand. Yeah, just a D-React, 2 items in hand. And Tom is just doing what he can to survive. He plays the Aether Ice Vein, triggering the Amulet of Ice after he fuses the card. So again, these are like mini Insidious Chills. You either pay 2 or discard a card. So they're both going to trigger. Or he's going to activate them both, rather. And we're just going to block for 7 here. And arsenal the last card. And Tom is just down to 3 cards, and he's got a Potion, a Heart of Fyendel, and that's just not going to be it. If Jamie has any attack, that is the game. Yeah, that was just so unfortunate the way those Frost Hexes lined up. Just was never able to get them. Can Tom? No. Unfortunately, Lucky Pixel, Tom cannot win from here. That was a quick concede. With no cards in deck left, basically, except his boots. Unfortunately, the Frost Hexes just came really late. Never was able to set them up. Could never get that combo off. He did do everything he could to keep himself alive throughout the turn or throughout the game. I mean, it was really fun to watch, just the way he was like finding tricky ways to keep himself alive, but never really kept himself alive in a way that would kill Jamie. So Jamie will take round 1 and go to 1-0 in our 4-round tournament here. We do have 3 more rounds. I don't want to cut away just yet, but we do have 3 more rounds. Is there anything? So what do we have? We have in the field. We have these 2, of course. We have a Bravo. We have an Icelander. We have a Lexi player. We have a Bolton player, I believe. We have a Rock Reinar, I think. He brought it. I don't know if he's playing it. And then we had a couple more that I can't remember. Yeah, a couple more that I can't remember. So I'm going to try to find something interesting for the round 2 tournament. If any of that, if you guys heard anything you want to see, I'm pretty sure if the Rock Reinar is playing today, that's probably something that people would want to see, is the good old rock being thrown at people. So we'll just have to see. This is a more friendly locals. We are on the shitty Christmas present armory kit, so not playing for anything like high stakes or anything. So just a fun stream for you guys to hang out with. But yeah, you know, invite your friends. Let's get more people in here. Let's get a lot of people in this chat talking about Flesh and Blood, seeing what, you know, we have a lot to talk about. We have the OP announcement. We have, you know, more gameplay, all that good stuff. So stick around if you can. Also, you have a link on your screen that says thehaventabletop.com. If you use promo code TEAMACG, you actually save 10% on all Flesh and Blood singles, and they ship pretty much anywhere in the world as far as I understand. So 10% off, already really great price, Flesh and Blood singles. So that all being said, I will be right back with the pairings for round number 2. Probably will say it's currently 3:08 Eastern. I will be back here no later than 3:15. 3:15 we will be back. Probably earlier though, so stick around, and we will be right back. What is going on, everyone? I'm setting up round number 2 as we speak, ahead of time, or no, right on time. 3:15 is right when I said I'd be back, but we're gonna have a fast round for you. I think this is you're not gonna see it on your screen just yet, setting up the names and everything, but it's gonna be a Briar versus a Fi. Now, these are two aggro decks that have been quite aggro and quite prevalent in the meta. But hopefully we get some cool explosive plays. You know, one of the things I love about aggro is just seeing like how wild it can get when there's no interaction between the two. I know a lot of people kind of don't like what I just said, and when you're on the receiving end of it, I totally get it. But yeah, no, I'm ready to see it. We have Josue and Alex, and I just want to say shout out to Josue. You know, he started playing this Fi deck, and it's been a work in progress so far, and he has just ran with it. I mean, he has done quite well recently. He has been kind of killing it. So yeah, so I'm excited to bring this one to you. We have Alex is on this Briar deck. He's been on Rune Blades. I don't know, probably Alex just plays whatever he thinks is good, man. There's no I don't think there's any class loyalty. Every once in a while he'll be like, I really like this or that. But really it's just whatever he thinks is good. Definitely a fab grinder out here. And then Josue has just been on Fi for as long as I can remember. You know, interesting choice that he's gonna go with the Null Rune robe. I think that's honestly just because he doesn't have a flame scale furnace quite yet, but all good. He does have his Tiger Stripe Shuko, he does have his Mask of Momentum, and he does have his boots. And those dragons, Snapdragon Scalers are quite good. I mean, giving anything, basically anything in the deck go again. Anything that costs 1 or less, which is almost going to be, I'm pretty sure, everything. Pretty strong effect. Especially those Lava Bursts, those Salt the Wounds, anything like that. So yeah, I'm really excited to see these big combo-y decks, see exactly what they do. So, did I forget the? Okay, make sure I don't have the music playing through this round. I think it was already good, but just make sure I pause it and stop the desktop audio as well. But that's a little behind the scenes stuff. Let's get into this. They are shuffling up. I don't know who's going to be going first, but talk about the suite of equipment just a little bit. So we see Alex is running the Crown of Providence. Again, just such a good card we saw in the last game. And then we see the Snapdragon Scalers on his side as well. The Grasp of the Arknight. And then, of course, the chess piece from Monarch is pretty interesting, too. I believe it reads, if you've played a non-attack and an attack, you can break them and gain a resource. Or it's either, I think it's 2 resources, but it's been a while since I played against it. But that being said, it's usually the chess piece you play in aggressive matchups because you don't think you're going to get Tunic twice. This game is probably going to not last very many turns. Sometimes it lasts a little while time-wise, just because sometimes the player who ends up losing tempo has to think a little bit harder on how they're going to get back tempo. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see exactly how this plays out. Josue starts with a really awkward hand that he probably hopes that he's going second with. I think I saw 2 Rise from the Ashes. Looks like we're just going to start off. He is starting us off. Rise from the Ashes is going to get that next attack +3 and get a Phoenix Flame back from the graveyard. Now, he did play a red card, so he could play that Flame Call Awakening. Not the worst thing in the world. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to play that Flame Call Awakening. Now, Flame Call Awakening is a really strong card in any deck that cares about Phoenix Flame. It says if you've already played a red card, you can actually search your deck for a Phoenix Flame. Now, he does have to pitch for it. It does cost 1. I think Alex is, just going to remind him, hey, you have to pay for that, bud. But yeah, so he's going to search his deck for a Phoenix Flame, add it to his hand. So now we have the Phoenix Flame train kind of rolling here, ready to go. And this is still coming in for 6 damage. 6 damage due to that Rise from the Ashes effect. And not a bad first play. You know, sometimes Briar's hands can be kind of bad to block with. They have a lot of block twos, specifically because they usually get bumped up by embodiments. And that's exactly what we're going to see. We're going to see Alex actually already giving up that piece of armor. Blocking with the fridge, turn 1. Good old Rob special. Haven't seen that guy in quite a while, but used to be the thing he used to do in those blitz tournaments quite a bit with Dorinthia. Giving him the fridge, turn 1. So blocking 6 here. Not going to leak any damage turn 1. No reason to. Now what this will do is Alex will actually probably have the first chance for tempo. You know, he'll be going second. You know, the cards that if Josue decides to block, then he'll have less cards on his turn. He doesn't get to draw back up. Similar to, or dissimilar to how this turn is going to go, where Josue at the end of this turn will actually draw up those cards. Now this Spreading Flames, I believe, should be coming in for 3. Spreading Flames, another really strong card for these ninjas, where if for the rest of the chain, whenever an attack is whenever an attack's base is lower than the number of Draconic Chain Links, it actually goes up by +1. So right now we're at 2 Draconic Chain Links, so it will not buff itself. It'll be coming in for 3, but those Phoenix Flames that Josue has are going to come in for, I believe, 2 and then 3. And the reason the second one's coming in for 3 is because of the Tiger Stripe Shuko. And if Alex is taking it, I'm already ready to... If I'm Josue, I'm going to be sending these attacks in. Alex does not want to give up those last cards. And he's actually going to choose to send in the Phoenix Flame for 4. Or I'm sorry, the Sword for 4. And Alex chooses to block those with the last 2 cards in his hand. So leaking 5 damage turn 1 is a pretty good place to be if you're Fi. Now he doesn't have an arsenal. Sometimes those 5-card hands can just be super nasty coming from Fi. But gonna have a 4-card hand going into his next turn. Now let's see what Alex can respond with. Looks like we're just trying to choose exactly how we want to start this turn. The Force of Nature is not a bad way to start your turn. Force of Nature is a card that says pretty much whenever you hit with something that has attack higher than its base, you actually draw a card. And then, of course, because it's fused, it's going to give that next attack +1. So the next attack will have that effect kind of live with it. Then we see the So Tomorrow is actually going to put the Earthlore Surge back that he had to block with last turn. It's actually not a bad play. Earthlore Surge is a pretty powerful card on its own, but just getting the embodiment of lightning, you know, triggering Briar has always been the puzzle here. Now this is going to be for, I believe, 5 damage and go again. Not played from Arsenal, but does have go again due to the Lightning Surge token triggered from Briar's effect. Thank you, Alex, for putting on that damage counter for me, though I did guess right. This is 5 and go again. Now, the other side of this is that he will draw a card. So we're at least going to see the sword here. And Rosetta Thorn has just been such a menace in the format since this set came out. And Josue not allowing him to draw the card is going to actually give up a Lava Burst and a Searing Strike. He is going to take the 4 from the weapon, though. And 1 for 4 has just been such a good rate. And the fact that it's split between 2 Arcane and 2 Physical, I don't know if that was supposed to be like a detriment in LSS's mind. That, oh, it's less damage, so it's easier to block. I don't know. But the fact that it's split just makes it so difficult to deal with, especially when you get to these low health situations. It looks like Josue is just going to play a Ronin Renegade for, I believe, 3 damage and go again. This is the head jab of the deck. No text, just 3 damage and go again. Alex is going to take that, and then this is going to be for 4 damage. Now, Josue has not pitched. He's not going to be able to retrieve that Phoenix Flame or do anything like that, but he is still ahead. For what it's worth, Josue gave up, one of the power cards in his deck, and it didn't matter. He's still ahead by, I believe, 8 damage. So, but here we see Alex is actually going to play a This Rounds on Me, and he's going to play another This Rounds on Me. So, giving Josue 2 extra cards. Now, that is going to trigger Briar's Embodiment of Lightning. Is going to trigger Briar's Embodiment of Lightning. Now, another thing that this card does, you don't see it played super often, but you do see it text against Fi every now and again. It does give Fi a card, which is worth a lot. However, it will say, during Fi's next turn, all the damage coming at you from Fi will be 1 less, right? So now everything's -2 in his hand, which can, for a go wide deck, that can be pretty devastating. Now, Alex doesn't really have a hand that is, at the moment, super terrifying. Now, we do have the Enlightened Strike. Going to be interesting to see what mode he picks. I would assume draw a card. But he could pick +2. 7 and Go Again is not bad. The only thing I know he won't pick, I would assume, is the Go Again mode, considering he already has Go Again from the Embodiment of Lightning. So I didn't see him draw a card, so I'm just going to assume this is 7 and Go Again. This would bring Josue to 29 if he were to take all of it. Which he might, actually. There's just so many cards in Josue's hand. And yeah, he's going to take all of it. Going to get the Embodiment of Lightning. Didn't see the buff there. Josue might have taken an extra point of damage when he didn't need to, but just going to have to roll with that until let him know after the game. But yeah, that's going to be a... Oh, it was 8. What was it 8 from? I missed the buff. I'm not sure what buff that. It's okay. Either way, I'm going to come in with 2 and 2. Now, Josue has a lot of cards in his hand. Again, all of his attacks are -2. So there is that to consider. But again, he has like 6 cards in his hand. A 6-card hand in Fi is pretty terrifying. Even if all the attacks are -2. Especially when the first one is E-Strike, which I'm assuming is Go Again. So this is going to be 3 and Go Again. Which is kind of funny. Alex is going to take 3, not too worried about it. So another attack with -2. Now, he did have to give up 2 cards for that. That 6-card hand means a little bit less every time he has to give up another card for that. I do see a Salt the Wound in his hand. So Salt the Wound basically negates the first 2 hits. And it looks like we're just going to play another E-Strike for 3 and Go Again. This could have been such a devastating turn if he didn't have to play under these This Rounds on Me. Now, another thing that's interesting is there haven't been any Draconic chain links on the chain yet, so we're just going to end with a Snatch, I think. And the Snatch is just for 2. Just for 2 because, again, we're under 2 This Rounds on Me. So, yeah, I think This Rounds on Me, I think it did exactly what Alex wanted it to do. I mean, it got in a lot of damage. It stopped a lot of damage. And yeah, it looks like we're just gonna play the Snatch, and I don't think we want to. I think we want to Arsenal that Salt the Wound. There's a good chance we want. I mean, it doesn't have Go Again. Alex is gonna allow him to pop the Snapdragon Scalers, and it's just gonna be a Salt the Wound for 2. I don't think I would have played it there. I don't think this is a good rate, but that's okay. We are gonna draw back up to 4. Josue is still winning in the end. It's still 24-20. Let's see what Alex has. You know, both these decks have been kind of a slow start. Nothing too crazy. But here we see the Ravenous Rabble. A pretty good card. I think that was another This Round's on Me. I saw it for only a half second, but yeah, so that is another This Round's on Me. It's gonna Ravenous Rabble has a base of 5 and it says reveal the top card of your deck. The revealed card subtracts the attack of Ravenous Rabble by ever its pitch value, and This Round's on Me pitches for 3. So now this Ravenous Rabble is coming in for 2. Josue is gonna let that hit. Of course, we let 2s hit all day long as the aggro deck. Alex is actually going to break the chain, play a Force of Nature, fuse it with an Autumn's Touch. Now again, +1, and anything that's buffed that hits this turn will draw a card. We are going to pitch that Autumn's Touch, make a Rune Chant. What's the next card we're going to see get played? It's going to be a Lightning Surge from hand. So this should be 5 damage. I don't think we played the extra. So it's going to be 1 Arcane. 5. He is going to Snapdragon Scalers it. And because it hit and it was buffed, we're going to draw that card. Now, Alex most likely is not going to get the same use out of... Oh, but we knew it was a This Round's on Me. That's interesting. That does give us the embodiment of lightning. We are going to draw another card. Alex knew that was on top of his deck from the Ravenous Rabble, so he must have thought that was definitely something he was willing to do. Willing to break those Snapdragon Scalers to play that This Round's on Me. So now Josue, all of his attacks will be subtracted by 1. Alex is going to break that chess piece, gain those 2 resources. What's going to be that attack that comes down? We're going to play the Earthlore Surge. This has been quite the turn from Alex, so that's going to be a +5. This way, just turning on that Do Not Disturb for me, just to get those notifications out of the way. We're working on getting life counters on the screen at some point so that they don't have to worry about this too much, but this is going to be an Earthlore Surge for, I believe, 7 damage? Yeah, 7 damage. Oh, it was a blue Earthlore Surge, so 7 damage. It's going to block 3 and take 4. That's going to allow Alex to draw another card, and it's just going to... Don't want to arsenal that one. That is a Tome of Harvest. Now, he does have the Crown of Providence, so if he can always... you can arsenal it at this stage. You know Josue is going to attack you, and you have the Crown of Providence. It does give you another card, or he can just use it to swing the sword. It's a good chance we just see him swing the sword with that last card in his hand. Not a big card he wanted to see. Yeah, just going to swing the sword for 2 and 2. This is a huge turn from Alex, pretty much going from 24 to threatening to go down to 8. So, 16 damage turn. Not too bad. It's pretty fun to watch that little sequence of plays too. So here we see the Brand with Cinderclaw. It's going to be 3 damage. That next attack is going to become Draconic if it's not already. And so Alex is going to actually block with that Crown of Providence. Oh, but I forgot. That's where sometimes even Streamer Man doesn't remember, but he was under This Round's on Me, so that was coming in for 2, and so the Crown was actually blocking all of it, but the Ancestral Empowerment is going to buff it by 1, and now this is another 2 damage attack. Alex fine taking 2 all day long. Another Ronin Renegade. This is going to be another 2 damage. Now this one is threatening the Mass Trigger. And yeah, Alex is going to block that with a Sigil of Suffering. That has a base defense of 3 as a defense reaction, but it also has the effect that when you use it to defend, your opponent will attempt to take 1. or it will attempt to deal 1 arcane damage to your opponent. If they do, it actually buffs it to a normal kind of 4 damage D-react. And so Josue choosing not to use that Null Rune Robe doesn't matter anyway. The Ronin Renegade was only coming in for 2, so this would cover up no matter what. He did activate Phi. Because he controls 3 Draconic Chainlinks, Phi's effect allowed him to grab a Phoenix Flame for free, but we do have the Lava Burst, which is one of the stronger cards, and it looks like he wants to keep the Phoenix Flame for the next turn. He's going to Arsenal it. Not too shabby there. I think I would have liked to see him play the Phoenix Flame. I guess it doesn't matter. Why would he play the Phoenix Flame? It comes in for 0. So Josue going to draw up his 4. We're going to go to Alex's turn, and we're going to actually see that Bramble Spark fused with a Tome of Harvest. We're going to pitch the Tome of Harvest, immediately make a Rune Chant. So now we have 2 Arcane coming in, and a +3 buff. And then a Swarming Gloomveil coming in for, I believe, what is 7 and 2 Arcane, and go again. This is going to be quite a bit. So it's 2 Arcane. One of the Arcane is attached to the attack itself, so that will create an embodiment of lightning if Josue takes it. I think this is going to be GG's on this one if I had to guess. If anything, it's going to strip most of Josue's hand. Josue being at 7, this is already threatening 2 over lethal, 2 of which are Arcane. There's going to be another 2 Arcane coming from the sword and another 2 physical. Teared up for Josue, battling it out, doing what he can. You know, Alex is playing this round's on me. That is the tech against Phi. That has just been, when he played the second one and gave a Phi 6 cards, or gave him 2 cards going up to 6, I was like, that seems a little crazy to me, to be honest. I never want to see a Phi with 6 cards in their hand, but then when you think about it, the deck is mostly head jabs, and if head jabs coming in for 1, or even like he played E-Strikes that turn, so E-Strikes become a infinitely less scary card at that point. So I kind of like that this round's on me as the tech against the Phi. If you think you're going to see a lot of Phi, I mean, that turn was just really not that scary. So we're going to take the 2 Arcane. Alex not going to forget his embodiment of Earth token trigger from Phi, because one of the Arcane, again, was attached to the Swarming Gloomveil itself from the Bramble Spark. And Josue knows he has to give up cards here. Now, he does have 4 armor available to him. He doesn't want to give up the mask probably just yet, but he definitely does have the Tiger Stripe Shuko. And there it is. He's going to block with, I believe that's 4 damage, and actually take 3 here. And yeah, just another 2 and 2. And again, he could pitch into the sword, or he's gonna have to block. He's gonna have to give up a card no matter what. Looks like he's gonna give up the. He's gonna give up the helmet and have one life remaining. Now, if Alex has another one of those cheeky Sigil of Sufferings, he could win the game on Josue's turn. Of course, Josue does have the pitch. He does have the Arcane Barrier to pitch if he wanted to. Alex did get the Sigil of Suffering, though. So he's going to get like a weird card out of Josue's hand when he might not want him to. Or he can try to wait and see if Josue completely attacks out, kind of taps out his resources, and then just play the Sigil of Suffering on the last attack and just kill him there. We'll have to see how this turn plays out. So we're just going to start with a Phoenix Flame Arsenal. I'm assuming that we needed to get... And he's just going to go straight into the Art of War. I think Alex is giving a little bit of a hard time. Hey, you're going really fast here. I might have a response. No, I'm going to let him do it because we want to get those resources out of his so that the resources are no longer available to him. And then play that Sigil of Suffering just to end the game right there, because the hand he drew is not great for attacking. Josue's hand is not so great either. I see a belittle and a snatch. And the belittle cannot be triggered with the snatch in his hand. Josue just going to play the belittle. Go to one resource. And now Alex is in a weird spot where the Sigil of Suffering can just be paid for. Oh, don't. Was that a blue snatch? Must be a blue snatch. I think the red is too high to be able to reveal for belittle. So now Josue does have a blue in hand. Again, that Sigil of Suffering becomes much less useful. Could see him swing the sword here. So that's exactly what we're going to see happen. So sword for 3. And now Alex is kind of just, he was kind of, I think, hoping that Josue would have to tap himself out of resources, but it's kind of looking like that's not going to be the case. I don't see a world where, now he doesn't know, oh, he does know that the last card in his hand is a snatch. So there's no world where Josue uses up all these resources. Even if he just decides to activate Phi, it won't really matter because he'll still have one resource floating because he has 2 Draconic Chain Links on the chain. So he's just going to throw the blue snatch. It is a blue. Or the yellow snatch? Interesting. Yellow snatch. I kind of love it. Alex is going to drop the card anyway. No. You don't have to. You can pay the 1. Yeah, pay the 1. Almost conceded a little fast there. No need to concede just yet. However, if Alex can just swing sword with effect next turn, the game will be over. Josue only has Arcane Barrier 1. So no matter what, if Alex can swing the sword with effect, this game will end there. But does he have it? Does he have the attack and the non-attack? I see a bunch of non-attacks. Oh, he does have the Storm and Gloom Veil. So yes, I do believe the game will probably end here, but that's okay. So what we're going to see most likely is we're going to see, yep, the Amulet of Earth with the Go Again. That's your non-attack. The Swarm and Gloom Veil will be your attack. And we're going to make a Rune Champ first. Why not, for good measure? And then Swarm and Gloom Veil, it's going to be 4 and Go Again. I'm sorry, 3 and Go Again. So we only made one. We've only made one aura this turn. So it's just going to be the first line of text. So it's going to be 3 Go Again. We're going to pitch for the Rune Chant, and then of course we have 1 floating. We're going to swing the sword for 2 and 2, and only one of the arcane can be blocked. And that will probably end the game. There you go. And there it is. Alex will go to 2-0, I believe. Josue will drop to 1-1. Great game from 2 aggressive decks. Alex really played that one turn quite well. The turn where he played the where he cracked Snapdragon Scalers, knowing that the this round's on me is on the top of his deck. Play the this round's on me, and then get the Embodiment of Lightning. Play another card. I believe it was a Lightning Surge for 5. Draw another card. Have it to Arsenal. Oh no, that was the one where he got the Tome of Harvest, and he just had to swing the sword, but basically making something out of nothing, and pretty much ending Josue's kind of run there. Now we do have 2 more rounds of Swiss. There were 9 players today, so 2 more rounds of Swiss. We're going to try to find some interesting decks. We do have another Dash player here. I think I'm going to try to throw the Dash on. We have a Lexi. Lots of fun stuff, so let me know what you guys expect to see. So here we go. Can you guys hear me? Yes, that's great. All right, so it is me. Hello. I'm your streamer today. This is AJ from Adventure Code Gaming. Thank you guys so much for joining me so far. It's been a lot of fun. I'm going to try to talk to you guys just a little bit. I want to give you a little bit of entertainment in between games, because that was 2 aggro decks, so it's going to be a little quick. So if you guys are out there, please be sure to talk in the chat. That helps me out a lot. Gives me something to kind of riff off of instead of just having to test my knowledge on how many cards I can remember the names of and how much they come in for and all that good stuff. But we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. We got the big organized play announcement. Who's excited for that? Now, only one Pro Tour. Only one Pro Tour is pretty interesting because, I don't know, we had 2 last year. So, however, they didn't remove the prize money from the Pro Tours. What they did was they consolidated it. So, put whatever you want on. I love Dash, but I want to see a great match next. Yeah, I will do my best to put on the best match that I can. I love putting on like win-and-ins where it matters, so both players are playing as hard as possible. But we did have the big OP announcement. One Pro Tour. It's going to be in America. We don't know where yet. Then we have Worlds coming later this year. They didn't announce anything about it, but what I think is going to happen with Worlds, honestly, I think it's in Europe. If I had to guess, it's in Europe. They took away the Pro Tour. The Pro Tour was in Lille. It was a great success. I hear nothing but good things from that Pro Tour. And so super excited for that. I think that Worlds will be in EU. If I had to guess, I think that Worlds will be in EU. I think that Lille went well enough for them. If there's one thing I could ask LSS, personally, if I had a direct line to James White, it would be please put a calling or nationals or something in Orlando. There was nothing but good things there. Orlando is equipped to handle tourism and traffic, and it's a little selfish of me because it's in my backyard, but I'm excited to have something in Orlando again. I think when Nationals was here 2 years ago, it was a phenomenal event. No one really had any big complaints, so that's just what I got going on. Of course, we're going to be streaming every Saturdays like you see here, so if you haven't already, make sure you like and follow. We have 2 more rounds of Swiss. I can't guarantee a top cut, mainly because we're on shitty Christmas present, to be completely honest. So this is more of a fun event. No one's really gunning for that top cold foil prize. There are still prize packs being given out, but because we're on shitty Christmas present, everyone's more kind of just having a good time and hanging out. And I see a split in our future, but I'll let you know when we get to that. We still have 2 more rounds of Swiss to get to that, and players are still trying to make that top cut to get those extra prize packs. So that being said, I have talked enough. I'm giving my voice a little bit of a rest. I will say I'll be back by 3:55 at the latest, no matter even if the round has started or not. Just going to give myself a bit of a rest, put it on the be right back screen. Don't go anywhere. Be sure to share the stream, like it. I do have a bit of an announcement. Anyone who is watching, we're going to probably go to YouTube only pretty shortly. I think we just want to direct more of our traffic to YouTube, and YouTube kind of treats us a little bit better. So just be aware of that. But if you're watching on Twitch right now, enjoy it. We're happy to have you here either way. So that being said, we'll be right back. What is going on, everyone? I am back. I'm a minute late. I apologize. But we got a good one for you. We have, so pretty much the way the pairings have kind of worked is almost everyone has been on stream, or at least one person from each round has been on stream. So we're going to have a repeat, not a repeat of the matchup. So I actually just lost to an Icelander recently in an armory on Thursday, and I just want to see how Nick handles this as the Dash player. I know he's high on Plasma mainline for this matchup. I just think this is going to be really interesting. It's just like one of the more different matchups. You don't see it too often, but we might be seeing it more often. You know, Dash has been getting a lot of love from the community. She got a couple new cards. She got what a lot of people are calling Flesh and Blood's version of Thoughtseize, which is the harpoon. Basically, it says for as many times as you've boosted on this combat chain, your opponent has to reveal that many cards. Then, if they've revealed a card with that X, same boost amount, defense or less, you force them to block the harpoon with it. So you're like, hey, give me that card. You have to show me an action, probably at 3 cards, or pretty much you want to play it at 3 or higher. If you can boost it up to 3 or higher, then like if you can play it as the third chain link or higher, you're basically getting a card from your opponent no matter what. Now they are still getting its block value, so it's not a complete like discard it, it's worth nothing, or banish it as we've seen on other cards, but it is still a card out of their hand. Alright.
Yo, what we got downtime? Let me tell y'all about Twitch Prime and that awesome free sub that you can give to us, hopefully. Or, if you've already used your Twitch Prime, that's fine. Please at least hit the follow.
Thank you.
And subscribe if you're on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. YouTube is probably going to be our home going forward, so definitely subscribe there as much as you can. Definitely. So, yeah, so I don't know exactly who's favored in this matchup, to be completely honest. I want to say it's the Dash player, but I really don't know. You guys tell me, who do you guys think is favored in this matchup? Do you think it's Dash? Do you think it's Icelander? I really don't know. If I had to guess, I would say it's Dash. I think Dash just has the toolkit to kind of deal with it. They have ways to get around the Frostbite tokens. I think you can kind of hit quite hard. They have the blues to actually... So a lot of the times, decks, people will put in like AB3 or 4 into their deck thinking like, oh, that's what I need against Wizard. But then they don't have the blues to actually pay for, right? Like if a Warrior does that and they put too many... Like, they just don't have... You give up the blues and you're typically one of those decks that plays like has like you want like a 1 blue card hand, and so you just don't really have the ability to pay it as efficiently as you want. So you give up the blue and then you're not really attacking the Icelander, you're just giving them more time to set up against you, more time to just chip in damage. But here we see Nick is choosing to start, like I said, with that Plasma main line. I'm really interested to see his equipment suite when he decides to put it out as well. So yeah, Tom's ready to go. He likes the way he sideboarded. Nick's ready to go. And we are underway. I don't know who's actually starting us off. I'm sure Tom would love to choose to go first. And so if we look at Nick's side, he decided to play the Visitronic Model I, the Goliath Gauntlet, his Tekla Foundry Heart, and his and the boots, the dash boots. And Achilles Accelerator. It was coming to me. I had to remember it, but the Achilles Accelerator. So he does have Arcane Barrier 3. Now some Dash players have decided to swap out the gloves for Arcane Barrier gloves. Null Rune. Reason being is it gives you the Achilles Accelerator play while still having AB3, Arcane Barrier 3. So that being said, we are underway. Who's going to get us started? Looks like it is Tom. He's going to take up that Tunic first. He does have an E-Strike in his hand. He does have a Brothers in Arms. That Brothers in Arms did come in pretty clutch in the last game. Now, in the last game that we featured Tom in, now it didn't win him the game. Unfortunately, he got himself decked out, but that was because he didn't have this, which is a Frost Hex. Now, in that game, he could not find a Frost Hex to save his life. And here, turn 1 Frost Hex, baby. Let's go. If you're Tom, you're definitely happy with that one. So Nick's starting the game with that Frost Hex, that pesky little Frost Hex. Like, it's going to try to chip in a lot of damage. Now, if you don't know what Frost Hex does, it's an interesting card. So it basically says if you end the turn with a Frostbite, that Frostbite's going to try to deal 1 Arcane to you. So you can either, there's 2 ways you can kind of get around it, right? You can either try to do something that pops the Frost Hexes, you know, like activate an ability, play a card, things like that, get rid of the Frost Hexes. Or you can just pay the Arcane Barrier that they're going to deal. You can pay the Arcane damage with Arcane Barrier that they're going to deal. It's just 2 ways. Like, sometimes you just don't have the ability to pay for the card that you want to play, and so you're just going to pay the Arcane or something like that. But it is an interesting card. And of course, you can play up to 3 and give your opponent up to 3 of them, and then it's pretty much 3 Arcane damage every Frostbite. So, and we see Tom is not giving Nick a Frostbite early on, so Nick knows he is ready to boost away. So high speed impact coming in for, I believe, 4 damage. So Tom gonna activate a Blizzard, trying to give him make this not have go again. Doesn't have go again naturally, so because it gained go again, and actually Tom's just gonna take the high speed impact, and Nick's gonna say, I'm not giving you any time. Nick's gonna load the gun that does technically close the combat chain, and then we're gonna shoot the gun for 2. You know, this was a really good turn from Nick. He doesn't have the time to kind of sit around and let Tom develop these Frost Hexes. Let him develop this, like, you know, kind of board state, you know, the Insidious Chills, the Frost Hexes, things like that, where it just makes it really hard to play against. Now, Tom is low on life, and here we go. The pretty much bread and butter, Scar first Scar, pretty much an Icelander staple at this point. It is 4 damage, and of course, it will have go again because Tom is lower on life here. So 4 damage and go again. This is round number 3. I believe both these players are X1, so they are kind of playing in the playoffs before the playoffs, you know. A dropped game here is kind of the end of their run. So 4 damage and go again. Does Nick choose to block here? I have a feeling there's actually a small chance he won't. And Nick really having to decide on this block. He's actually going to give up the Tekla Foundry Heart. Going to take 2 from that. Tekla Foundry Heart does have 2 and Battle Worn, 2 defense and Battle Worn. So looks like Tom is just going to draw a card off the E-Strike, just kind of come in for 5 damage. And yeah, Nick's just going to take that. Nick's pretty much likes the rest of his hand. He's deciding on Goliath Gauntlet. Now, this has to be pretty careful. He's only got a 3-card hand. If Tom has any real kind of disruption here, it could really stunt what that Goliath Gauntlet can do. Now, he's going to play the Combustible Courier. This comes in for 4 damage. Costs 2, but it does say if it hits that the next attack you boost gains +3. So 4 damage on the chain here. Tom deciding, does he want to respond at this point? Does he want to respond at a later point? Now, the benefit of responding here is you make, even if this hits, you make the next thing, you might even make it like unpayable, or just the fact that, or like really inefficient. But I don't think he'll be able to give him enough Frostbites to get to that point. Nick can also always activate Tekla Foundry Heart as a way to gain an additional resource and clear the Frostbite. We do see a Blizzard in Tom's hand. Now, Blizzard is really interesting. Now, Blizzard says, again, target attack loses and can't gain go again unless your opponent pays 2. Nick does have 1 floating, so he only has to pitch 1 more card in order to pay for that. And he still has 1 floating, but he is going to have a Frostbite. So the Frostbite makes this a little bit more interesting in the sense that, like, now he's under that Frostbite, and now Nick will have to pitch probably an additional card. Yeah, he'll have to pitch that last card unless the last card in his hand is free. So Tom going to decide to block with a blue Aether Ice Vein and the Crown of Providence. And he's just going to say X equals 0. He's going to go grab that. I actually kind of like that play a lot. Now, X equals 0, so he's going to be able to go grab that Tekla core. And because it's an item that comes into play with Steam counters, the Plasma Mainline is actually going to move a Steam counter to it. So that's 3 charges on the Tekla core. That is 6 additional resources out of nowhere. That is crippling to Icelander. And because he boosted this turn, he is going to draw a card, so that will give him an arsenal. Now, this doesn't have go again, so he's not going to be able to play the card, but having go again is pretty strong here. And he was able to do that because the Tekla core costs 0, and he has a Frostbite. So you say X equals 0, the cost of the card is now 0, and then +1 from the Frostbite. So he did have 1 floating, so that basically paid for the Spark of Genius. And he's going to draw the card, and he's going to choose whether or not he wants to Arsenal it. He does choose to Arsenal it. That was a strong play from Nick right there. Having 3 charges on that Tekla core is huge. Again, getting around Frostbites is the name of the game now. Here we see that Icelander staple, which is 4 go again, Scar for a Scar. This might as well be an Elemental Wizard card, I swear. This is a staple in this card. 4 damage go again is just so strong. And you're almost always like lower in life like the whole game until you're like going for the kill turn. You actually see the maximum velocity. Interesting enough, when I play Dash against Icelander, now I lost, so take this with a grain of salt. I just don't ever feel like you're going to get to the maximum velocity turn. So I side those out, but maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I should be playing that card. I definitely trust Nick on this deck a lot more than I trust myself. He's been playing it a lot more, testing a lot on Talishar, so excited to see what he can. So many free resources on that Tekla core. So Nick just taking all that damage. We're going to see the first takedown of Tekla core. He's going to get 2 resources. And now the Tekla core still has 2 more charges on it. 2 more Steam counters. And that's just the power of Plasma Mainline. We'll have to see how much We'll have to see how much use he gets out of the plasma mainline. Would be interesting to see if he actually gets all 5 charges off all 5 steam counters off the plasma mainline. I kind of love the flavor of that too. It's like you're building stuff and you're like, oh, I set up this like generator to like power my stuff even more, transfer energy to it. But we do have the throttle coming in for what I think is 5 and go again. Or it is 6. 6 and go again. Oh no, that's 5. 6. I have to remember exactly what each one comes in for. It's a little difficult sometimes, but 6 and go again from the boost. He did boost away a combustible courier, which is a feels bad. It's not the end of the world, but those are probably some of your strongest cards, like must blocks, are the combustible couriers. The other thing about Dash that's kind of difficult to pilot, I would say, is that you are just damaged. So if the other person is just damaged as well, which Icelander's not, but you are just damaged. So if the other person is faster damage than you, which is sometimes true, sometimes not true, there's no incentive to really block except for things like the combustible courier that give you like exponentially more damage. So Tom has decided to take all 6 from this throttle. And again, no disruption has been played just yet. And the Spark of Genius for X equals 2. We're going to go get, I believe we're going to get a Teklo Pounder. Teklo Pounder is going to, again, it's going to come in with that extra resource on it, the extra steam counter. So we're going to get like 4 turns of Teklo Pounder. So Emeritus Scolding coming in for 4 damage, and Nick's going to have to take all of this because Nick has no resources remaining. So anything that Tom does, Nick has to... Basically, Nick's getting punished as much as Tom can punish him for it, for getting this Teklo Pounder. And again, the Teklo Pounder is going to give it another steam counter. So instead of 3 steam counters, it comes in with 4. 4 turns of Teklo Pounder. But I did see kind of the Dash Kryptonite in Tom's hand, which is a Channel Lake Frigid. I can't think of a worse card for Dash to see is a Channel Lake Frigid. I think that's one of the bigger reasons I lost that game was I was under 3. I had to go through 3 Channel Lake Frigids, 2 of which lasted 3 turns apiece. Very difficult to play under that, especially as Dash, where every single thing... Oh, another Spark of Genius. He cracked the boots to Spark. He drew the card off Spark of Genius, cracked the boots to gain an action point, and he's going to get another Teklo Core. And that's going to get another resource. That's actually huge for the Channel Lake Frigid play. That gives him 4 resources. 4 resources to be able to, without pitching a card. Nick told me that this was his strat against Icelander. Put the Teklo Cores in play with an extra counter due to mainline. Yeah, that's huge. And I think Teklo Core now giving him 4 resources at the beginning of the turn, and he gets to draw a card in Arsenal. That was huge. I love seeing that play. I think that's really interesting. Tom's just going to play that E-Strike, keeping the Channel Lake Frigid in hand, but E-Strike for 7, always strong. Always huge. Nick is actually losing already. He's down by 2, so any card that Nick gives up is just momentum lost, right? So he needs to... He doesn't know this yet, but Tom's last card is a Channel Lake Frigid, and even though he's getting 4 free resources, which is a lot, Channel Lake Frigid still taxes you so much. And on top of that, when he plays the Channel Lake Frigid from Arsenal, he's also going to get a Frostbite. So you got to remember that first thing is going to actually cost 2 more instead of just 1 from the normal Channel Lake Frigid. So both Teklo Cores are going to tick down. I want to say Teklo Core is at the start of action phase, so he can actually respond to it. And that is exactly what he's going to do. He's not even going to wait for him to play anything. He's just going to say, like, hey, you get a Frostbite, you get this Channel Lake Frigid, now you get to deal with it. Here, use your 4 resources on this big guy. And you can just kind of see the not the mannerisms or anything, but like just the general like Nick was going very methodical, and now just seeing Channeling Frigid, it's like the brakes just got slammed on the train. The train brakes are screeching. It's just like, oh no. But again, having that 4 extra resources definitely might give him a chance to navigate against this. This is also something you just don't see very often. You really just don't see, like, what do? You have Channeling Frigid, you have 4 resources floating from nothing. You have a Teklo Pounder. We can't see his hand, so we can't make any really good educated guesses on what the next thing's gonna do. Even loading the pistol costs 3 here, which pitching a... I mean, you wouldn't have to pitch, but losing 3 of those resources just to get a steam counter on the gun doesn't feel great. Another important storyline kind of here. Imperial Warhorn to the moon. Yeah. Channel Frigid would be gone here. And the Frostex. You get to pick yourself too. So you can pick the Frostex, which you control, and the Channeling Frigid they control. And they kind of lose. That is actually, you know what's kind of crazy, James? I just thought about. Like, it's not even a troll thing, right? Is, if you're on a high octane turn, you can both play the Imperial Warhorn and activate it on the same turn. It's actually like, it might be relevant. It might be relevant. I'll be completely honest. It might be relevant. Like, Channeling Frigid is so debilitating for Dash that Imperial Warhorn might actually like do something in this matchup. Tom going to give up 2 pieces of armor, the gloves and the tunic. Pretty strong there. You say niche, but it's not that much of a niche. Like, this is kind of what the deck does. I mean, you just arsenal that baby, play that high octane. The only issue is because it's a 1-of, right? The 1-of is like the hardest part. The fact that Imperial Warhorn is a legendary and you can't really like, when are you gonna see it? But you can always play it and just leave it on the field until you need it too. So yeah, this is where the math for Channeling Frigid really comes in. So all those resources led to just not too much going on Nick's side. Just a combustible courier into a pistol. Doesn't feel great. Now you're just hoping to God that Tom doesn't have the next ice card, but he does. But it's just going to be a Fiendo's Fighting Spirit. Now, Tom is not going to have an Arsenal card. He is going to keep the Channeling Frigid, though, so that actually probably buys him the time to not really worry about having an ice card next turn. Again, Nick's going to get 4 resources for free. But at the same time, like we just saw that last turn, just Channeling Frigid just hampers the deck so much. Just very devastating against Dash when you see Channeling Frigid. Especially when they get to keep it the second turn. If they keep it the second turn, they're able to pitch 2 ice cards. You feel horrible. It's not even gonna there's no other way to put it. That Channeling Frigid is just so like just painstakingly like put on the brakes, do nothing or do very little compared. But another storyline I was gonna say is that the boots are gone. You know, having the boots be gone, that was a source of Nick's Arcane Barrier. We kind of talked about at the beginning where the gloves are sometimes swapped out for Null Rune gloves instead of the Goliath Gauntlet. And the reason being was specifically because if you crack those boots, then you lose that Arcane Barrier. So Nick is going to get those 4 resources. We do see the 1 flow counter go on the Channeling Frigid. Nick's going to play a zipper hit, boosting it. So it is going to come in for what I think is 6 damage here. Oh, I'm sorry, actually 9 damage here. Oh, I didn't see the BIOS update. So BIOS update is a neat card that they got out of Dynasty, pretty new card. It does say your next attack that you boost gets +3. And that if the next card you boost is a item card, you actually get to put it in play for free. This kind of gives you like the Data Doll ability as a one shot. But here we see this is something that if you're Nick, I think this is where you have to just keep a level head at this point. So we have the Aether Ice Vein, which is going to tax you quite a bit. And the card he revealed for the fusion is actually another Channel Lake Frigid. So while this Channel Lake Frigid will die, it will not be able to pay. You will not be able to put the second flow counter on and pay it with your pitch. The second channel, the next Channel Lake Frigid is right behind it. So as soon as that Tekla Core pops next turn for Nick, the second Channel Lake Frigid is coming right behind it. That's kind of hurtful, And you still have to deal with this. This is going to disrupt your turn quite a bit too. So, I mean, this guarantees you don't start with a full hand, right? So it's going to be coming in for 5 Arcane. And then it triggers, right? If it doesn't any Arcane, which it's going to because Nick only has Arcane Barrier 2 available to him. It's going to, no matter what, take 3. Yeah, he's going to no matter what take at least 3 here. He's going to discard the Harpoon. That just doesn't feel great. That Channel Lake Frigid is going to go away. And Tom knows that he has the other Channel Lake Frigid right behind it. And Nick's kind of in a not so great spot here. Yeah, Nick is not in a great spot here. Nick being at 11, knowing that the Channel Lake Frigid is in Arsenal, it's just rough. I mean, that making everything cost 1 more when pretty much you have to, if you just want to fire the pistol, that's 2 actions, right? So that's taxing it by 2. Just on the Channel Lake Frigid alone, just firing 2 damage from the pistol. I still do really like this deck against Icelander. I wonder if Nick would just be in a different spot if he was playing those Null-Rune Gloves. Though maybe not. Maybe those Goliath Gauntlets will kind of push him back over the edge. We'll just have to see that kind of play out. And Nick just knowing that there's a Channel Lake Frigid underneath Tom's arsenal. Just knowing it's sitting there waiting. Can we just comment on Nick's playmat real quick? It's Arachne as Santa Claus. I think that's just freaking hilarious. I saw this kind of go around the Twitter, the Flesh and Blood Twitter, and I just think it's awesome. And I think one of the things that really separates it from other custom playmats is I think it's done by the same guy who actually drew Arachne. So here we see the T-Bone coming out. It's going to be 3 damage thanks to the Tekla Pounder. It is a blue T-Bone. Now, he's not under Channel Lake Frigid just yet. Tom could respond here with it. I don't see why you wouldn't. I feel like Channel Lake Frigid, because due to its nature, you just want to keep it out as long as possible. Pretty much put Nick in just really bad spots. And Tom is going to block with 1 card. Blocks for 3. And Nick just going to use his last card to play a Tekla Pounder. Or those 2 resources that he had floating. Just play a Tekla Pounder. Tom not going to play the Channel Lake Frigid at all. Leaving it down there. And so Tom's just going to play the Channel Lake Frigid on his turn. Very interesting there. I mean, I guess the one thing that does is it preserves a card in hand. Tom has one of the other more debilitating cards for Dash to see, which is a hypothermia. Now, if you don't know what hypothermia does, it says he is going to pitch it, but if you don't know what it does say like pretty much remove go again from anything that doesn't already have like it has to naturally have go again. So all the boost cards don't have go again printed on them. So you boost a card away and then they play that in response and your turn ends. You lose the and Nick not having the Achilles accelerator is pretty rough. Tom just sneaking in as much damage as he can. And we got to the point where we almost have the plasma main line actually use up all of its counters. It's done it. It's put in on quite a bit of work here. We're going to pitch the 0 to 60, come in with the zipper hit with double freaking Teklo pounders. This is quite the hit. Teklo zipper hit with 2 Teklo pounders coming in for 9 damage. That's 5 base and then 2 extra damage times 2 from 2 Teklo pounders. That plasma mainline, you know, getting full indeed value out of it. Now, Tom has to be careful here, too. If he can't keep the channeling frigid up, that does kind of put him in a really precarious spot where if Nick can just have a really big turn and kind of force out a lot of cards and have this big, heavy-hitting turn, but Tom still has those Storm Striders available to him. Nick's at 11, which isn't the highest life total ever for a wizard to try to kill you at. And that is kind of a scary look when the Icelander takes the full hit of the 9. Again, it's just damage. And because he's under channeling frigid, I don't know if there's another attack that can even come here. Might just be keeping a blue in hand just to pay for as much as he can if he has to. And if here's an Emeritus Scolding. I believe this is for 4 damage because it's the blue from Arsenal. And again, Nick can only ever block 2 Arcane at a time because the only thing available to him is the Visitronic Model 1. Which does have 2 Arcane Barrier, but this is going to be 4. And then I'm assuming we're going to see a Waning Moon getting at least another. So at the very least, Nick's taking 3 here. But he's going to take all 4 from that, and we're definitely going to... I think there's no way we don't see Waning Moon here. Unless Tom thinks he can keep channeling Frigid up another turn, which he might be able to. I think he actually might be able to if he plays the Frost Bolt or the Ice Bolt. He's not going to. He's actually choosing to come in for 3 with the Waning Moon. Nick's going to take 3. And now Tom's probably smelling blood in the water. Does he have another? I think he just has an Ice Bolt, but I think it's just a blue. So I don't know if it's enough to try to pop. Yeah, not enough to try to pop Storm Striders, even with the free resources floating. However, channeling Frigid. So there's a Hypothermia. So Hypothermia again is going to shut down all those boost cards. And it's just kind of debilitating at this point. We're going to crack Goliath Gauntlet. See if Tom has a response to that. If I'm Tom, I don't think I respond to this just yet. No, but he's going to go for it. All he has to do is pretty much do... If he can do 6 damage, Nick can only ever block 3, so... Or block 2. It's going to be 4 with an Aether Ice Vein fused. And now this is going to disrupt his turn even more. He's going to stop 2, take 2 here. And I think we know the last card's going to be... Yep, Tom's going to Waning Moon, go to 1, and then we're going to Ice Bolt for 3, I believe, and that probably will be Xaxes, and Nick will not be able to stop all this damage. That is it. Unfortunately, because Nick had to pop his Achilles Accelerator, does not have the Arcane Barrier, and being under Channeling Frigid for, what, 4 turns, it feels like? It's just a lot for the dash to come back from. I really do like this build from Nick, though. I really do like the way it's set up to try to deal with Icelander, especially with the Plasma mainline and the Teklo cores getting so many extra resources for free, so you can play under those Channel Frigids, but just didn't have the hands to line up even under, like, so you have the 2 Teklo cores to try to get around Channel Frigid, gives you 4 extra resources, and you just didn't have the like free cards, you know, like the zipper, not zipper hit, but even if it was zipper hit, so for 1 or 0 to 60 for 0. Those are the cards, or the T-Bones, that you really want those 0 cost attacks to use those extra resources on for free, so that you can still play around the Channeling Frigid. You just didn't get those. I think all of his attacks were really heavy costed. You had to swing pistol one time, which swinging pistol under Channeling Frigid just does not feel good, because you have to pay 2 to load it, pay 1 to shoot it. You know, pitch a blue just to come in for 2 is not where you really want to be. So totally understandable. Good job to Tom for actually taking that one. So he is still alive. I believe Nick is technically knocked out of top 4. But we still have one more round of Swiss to play. I'm going to rest my voice for just a little bit. We're going to try to find a win-in. So like table 2 or 3. Who's going to get those last 2 spots? We don't know. It probably will be a repeat of someone who's already been on stream. But we'll see. Try to get something interesting. Try to get something fun. It is 4:34. I will say we'll be back no later than 4:45. Don't go anywhere. Share the stream if you can. Let's get this last round of Swiss up to double-digit viewers. That make me super happy and give me something to talk about with you guys. Definitely talk in chat if you feel so inclined. Again, I love it. I love having you guys in here. Thank you guys so much. We will be right back with round number 4 coming right up. What is going on? We are getting set up for round number 4, the final round of Swiss today. We got another high flying firework loaded matchup. Aggro v aggro. Josue versus Nick Del Sol. Now, the reason I brought this matchup is I just think it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, I like kind of seeing aggro v aggro and just seeing what's the most these decks can do. And we haven't gotten to see Bolton just quite yet. And here we go, Bolton. And I do know for a fact that he is playing the new prayer, Spirit of Arena Spirit, something, whatever, the necklace from Dynasty. Basically, the card that says if you charge it, instead of being charged, it actually enters the field instead. Still considered to be charged. However, it also says that you get to play your Lumina Ascensions as an instant, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah,
it's pretty nuts.
It's pretty good.
Not only does it give you the V the Vanguard turn, we also get to play a Lumina Ascension. I think that's more of a niche play. What it really gets to do is it basically says if you have a Lumina Ascension, it basically makes your cards that didn't have Go Again that you were kind of like hoping your opponent would block, like things like Engulfing Light, any of the other ones. Engulfing Light, there's another one that if it hits draw a card or something like that, or goes in your soul, or those ones, right? So those don't have Go Again naturally, so you're hoping that your opponent will block with an attack, go up by 1, then you get to banish a card from your soul, activate Bolton's effect, give it Go Again. However, that being said, now if you have the necklace out, you can charge the card, like say the Engulfing Light, coming in for 3, no Go Again. And then you can actually play the Lumina Ascension as an instant if you have it, and so that will not break the chain, and it gives it Go Again in a sense that you get to play it as an instant, and it has Go Again on it. And just like we've seen with Spellbound Creepers, having that kind of like create your own Go Again has been really strong in certain cases. So the only thing, I was talking to him about it, and he said the only thing is you definitely want to see it early. It looks like we're going to get an even odd roll. Don't know who's going first. We'll see who ticks up their tunic first. We'll see if Nick ticks up his tunic. We see Josue actually going with the chess piece from Uprising, the Sash of Sandakai, that you don't really see too much of. I do love it, though. I do love the aggressive nature. You're not going to get to these big turns. However, I think if you had the Flamescale Furnace, you definitely play it here, giving yourself that 3 extra life, essentially, the 2 block and then the 1 block. You don't really ever activate the Flamescale Furnace as the Phi player, but you definitely get use out of it via blocking, just giving you a lot more armor. So here we see the Engulfing Light. I willed it into existence. Engulfing Light coming in for 3. Does charge a card. Did charge the Bolt of Courage. It's funny how like when you see the actual images of the cards, it makes you remember. It's just been so long since we've seen a Bolton. Monarch came out over a year ago, almost 2 years ago now. Monarch's actually a pretty classic set at this point. First set with talents, and we just haven't drafted it in so long, which is where you see a lot of these cards too. So yellow Engulfing Light 2, and he's threatening 3. I like the way he's representing that. So he is gonna block. Yeah, he's gonna block with a non-attack action. So I think Nick has to explain to Josue that that this only goes up if you block with an attack. So actually blocking with that Rise from the Ashes is a pretty strong play there. So that's going to be it from Nick. He actually did a pretty good turn where he gets to charge a card in his soul. You want those cards in there. Still has a card in Arsenal. So Josue doing the good old Josue special, starting with that Phoenix Flame. He did have another Rise from the Ashes. He's going to Art of War it too. Why not? Gonna give it +1, so 4 damage from a Phoenix Flame that I don't think Nick actually has any real intention of blocking this entire game, so I don't think we're gonna worry about that too much. I think Nick's just, the thing, they're just gonna be sending the bill to each other, you know? Oh, actually, I will eat my words almost immediately. There are Sync Blows in this deck, and Nick saw a chance. He's coming in for 4. Why not stop the entire 4? And then just a Snatch, you know. I think I would have sent the Sword, at least. We did have 2 resources floating. We could have sent the Sword, you know, just having... We have the Draconic Chain Link. Just a little misplay there, unless he's just getting greedy with the Snapdragon Scalers, which could very well be happening, assuming he's going to get another card to play here, or he's just going to play the Snapdragon Scalers anyway. But of course, if we swing the Sword there, then we get the 3 extra damage. Oh, he actually, never mind. I will eat my words again. So I'm just so used to the 5-player or just anyone choosing the Banish and Draw 2, but he actually chose Go Again on his next attack. So the Snatch already had Go Again. And then we're just going to swing the Sword at the end of the chain instead, which all works out the same, basically. So this way, just going to draw up. I think I see an interesting hand there. We see another Belittle. But this is a Rising Solar Tide. Again, not a card I see very often. I think this one comes in for 5 damage. This doesn't have charge on it, if I remember correctly. I think this is the one where if it hits, it goes in Soul. But I could be misremembering that. So it's 37-35. We're going to see the Belittle. Oh, that's... Oh, hold on. Just wanted to go out there and kind of fix the situation a bit, and I only wanted to do it because I wanted to give Jose a little bit of crap because I have caught him trying to Ancestral. It is not intentional. It's just one of those things where it's like, hey, Jose, you really gotta be careful, man. You're playing non-ninja cards. Can't be banishing or can't be ancestraling a non-ninja card. Ancestral says Ancestral Empowerment reads that it must target a ninja attack, give it +1, and you get to draw a card. So just wanted to clear that up a little bit. This is not a high stakes match. We're not really playing for too much other than packs here, but and a shitty Christmas present. Don't get it twisted. But you know, this is for top 4, so I just want to, hey Josue, you know, you can't Ancestral this, and we just rewound the turn. Nothing crazy, no infractions given. And Nick getting the new card, the Spirit of Arena, Arena's Prayer, Arena, that card onto the field. The new Locket necklace basically is so strong, and he finally found it. So that's going to make those Lumina Ascensions just a little bit stronger, being able to be played as an instant after you charged. And this one is also good as well because it's a 4 damage attack that because its attack is higher than its base, he can actually give it go again via Bolton already. Doesn't have to worry about blocking or having a Josue block with an attack. So if this hits, it will draw a card, which starts to spiral Bolton out of control. Now, Nick is at 25. Josue is at 35. So he needs a big turn to swing this around, and Josue is actually choosing to block here. He's going to block with the Shuko and a card, so it's going to buff it to 5. Will Nick decide to actually banish a card from Soul to give it go again? Up to him. Maybe not worth it. So we are actually going to Beacon of Victory here. Beacon of Victory is such a strong card. It says you can banish as many cards as you want from your soul. That's going to plus the attack by that many cards. He's going to banish 1. Then you actually go get to... Is he going to actually go fish Lumina Ascension here? That's actually insane. Because not only was this the turn, he is going to go fish Lumina Ascension. This is actually one of those big brain plays. I love this. This is great. So he's going to be able to play that Lumina Ascension as an instant, get that go again. And on top of that, I just realized it just clicked in my head that because he's buffed this by 1, he's almost ancestraled against Josue. This is going to hit and draw him another card too. So coming in for 6 damage, he has a Lumina in hand that he can play as an instant. He has a card in his arsenal. He's going to play that Lumina as an instant. So get go again. So we still have to resolve the damage from here. So we're going to take 6 there. He's going to get a take flight. Now, if he had resources floating, that take flight would be pretty nuts. But he does have he does have the tunic, so... Tunic could allow him to play the take flight should he choose, but I think we're probably just going to see... Oh, we have a take flight in Arsenal. Why not? Play the one we have in Arsenal, right, for 4 damage and go again. Because we've charged this turn, and now take flight, unlike other cards a lot of the time, take flight only, like all the charge cards that Bolton has, typically when they have an effect, only care if you have charged this turn. So as long as you charge once, you don't have to charge for the take flight. You don't have to put that card in soul specifically for take flight because he's already done it. This is 4 damage coming in, and then we're going to get 2 Raiden swings, each for 4 damage. And you know it's a good sign when the aggro player starts blocking, right? So this is going to be the first Raiden for 4. It's going to take Josue probably down to 30. I think at this point, if you're Josue, you keep the Lava Burst in your hand. Save it for a big turn. But we'll have to see if that's the path he chooses to go. He could choose to block, but no. He's going to choose not to block. Well, first he's going to use a reaction. Give it go again. Put that Beacon of Victory in soul. Get a life. Now he's going to swing the sword again, and he's going to banish another card. Well, reveal another card if it's a light card. It is a light card. Gain another life, and suddenly Nick is in front of this game. He gained 2 life and dealt quite a bit through Josue's blocking. And now we're playing with fire right now. Like, this is where you want to be. Another bolt of courage. So Josue just going to Arsenal pass. Nick is going to remember that tunic counter, go up to 1. Let's see, that first card is going to be that take flight he drew from the last turn that he was able to Arsenal. So this is going to cost 1. He's going to pitch a red, I believe, put another card in soul. So this is going to be, I think this is a yellow. So, oh no, it's a red for 4 damage and go again. I like that he's representing the, like, hey, this is 4, but if you block with an attack, it is 5. So I'm just going to show you the 5 behind it. You know, super sportsman-like conduct. I love it. Great community down here in Central Florida. And Josue says, send me the bill. Give me that 4 damage. And we're just going to send a Raiden for 3. Now this is already buffed. Raiden's damage, of course, is 0 from its original effect. So gonna banish a card from the soul to give it go again and play a Bolt of Courage for 3. Now this will draw a card if it hits. A lot of times you have to kind of call the bluff here if you want to block it. And it looks like Josue is going to take 3. We're going to crack the Snapdragon Scalers, draw a card, get another Bolt of Courage. And if you're Josue, you got to be thinking, man, maybe this turn wasn't worth it. But we do know that Josue has a Lava Burst in Arsenal, and that alone can be quite devastating. Bolt of Courage, do. Take 2. He's not going to draw. He's not going to give anything to give it go again. It's not buffed in any way. So just going to draw the card. Give him a better choice of the arsenal. Clean up the board here. Yep, clean up the board. Draw back up to 4. And Josue gonna have to answer. Down by 13. Let's see it. Rising Resentment's a good way to start. Just a 1 damage. We're gonna pitch the Snatch. We're gonna play the Belittle. Do we have a reveal for the Belittle? No, we do not. Just a Belittle for 3 and go again. Then a Blaze Headlong. 4 damage and go again. Has go again because we played at least 1 red card this turn, which is the Belittle. And Nick just has the perfect answer to that for with a Sink Below. Now we know the last card is probably going to be... Oh, we had another resource floating, or another 2 resource floating. Must be Blue Snatch. So Blue Snatch, so take 3 there. And then finally, it's going to be the Lava Burst for 5, the Great Equalizer. Now, this is a lot of attacks from Josue, but really at the end of the day, even if Nick just takes all of this, he just evened the match. And then it goes back to Nick to do even more damage. And so I would say the tempo, even if Nick takes all of this, is still definitely on his side. Don't want to throw your weapon away there, Josue. Yeah, there we go. Get it back out. So 15 to 14 going into the Bolton player's turn. Let's see what Nick has lined up. If he can threaten 14, get some, get another piece of armor, get rid of that Mask of Momentum. See, Bolt of Courage is definitely a good way to start. 3 damage, threatening a draw. Now, the only thing scary about this, if Josue kind of calls your bluff, oh, we actually have the Beacon of Victory. This is going to be massive. I just realized that if you get the necklace out from Dynasty and then you're able to Beacon of Victory the Lumina Ascension, that just makes the Luminas and the Beacons just such a strong combo here. And he's going to get to draw a card on top of this. This could be a very devastating turn off a 3-card hand. And Nick does not even have to banish a card from Soul to give this go again, because he can just play the Lumina as an instant, get the go again. So there's the draw. It's a is that all you got, which is kind of a sad card to get. I'll be completely honest. It doesn't really help you in this situation. This is really where you want to push damage, but so here comes a 4 damage attack. So this is going to threaten lethal. You're going to get something from Josue, whether it's a card in hand, his Mask of Momentum, the 4 and the 4, no matter what, is going to get something. And another thing too is that the fact that Bolton's live for the turn too is very difficult to deal with. So everything's threatening. So even though this is blocking 2, it's really only blocking 1, right? Because if he blocks an attack, it goes up by 1. So yeah, I think Nick was like ready to just keep going off. He's like, I got all this stuff to do, but it looks like now we're gonna do everything. So he's gonna gain a life, and it's just gonna snowball from here. And then this is 2 damage, and you got to think that the card he drew is something to give this a buff because he would have just swung the sword already, or he just tapped it already and I missed it. That's very, very possible. Maybe he just did already like hit him twice, and the second block was with the Mask of Momentum. So blocking with a Lava Burst, I think that is going to block all 3 of it. Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. So he did swing the sword twice. It was just really fast. Basically the SpongeBob meme of want to see me do it again. Here we have a Ronin Renegade. 3 damage and go again. I think until Nick sees lethal, I don't think he's blocking. This is 3 damage and go again as well. And that's going to be the turn from Josue, and it's on Nick now to just finish off this fight. Bolton coming in hot. Looks like it's going to be a 3-win tournament for Bolton. 3-1. Nimblism. +3. Nimblism is a strong card in this deck too. And Rising Solar Tide coming in for what I think is 8 damage. Yeah, because Rising Solar Tide's a 1-costed attack. He used the Tunic resource to pay for it. And 8 damage. Has Cards and Soul ready to banish to give it go again. And we know that Phi does not block well. We have an E-Strike, which does block for 3, but I think literally the rest of the cards in his hand block for 2. Also, you have to remember, any card that he hasn't charged yet, so Bolton is not live. No charge here, just an 8 damage Rising Solar Tide. I wonder if Josue is thinking like, oh no, if I block with an attack, it actually goes up. So don't know if he's actually. It's you know, not a lot of people play Bolton, even at our locals. I think Nick might actually be the last player left playing Bolton. As far as all our local players, you're seeing a lot of Icelander, a lot of Dash, things like that. So. And Josue just going to give up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 worth of block. Nick going to give it go again. If he has an attack and a sword swing, I think this game's over. Yep, we're going to do E-Strike for 5 and go again, 7 and go again. Doesn't matter. That's going to be the game. Nick is going to take it. Bolton is the winner. Josue on Phi, you had a great tournament, bud. You were so close. This was table 2, and I believe he's going to fall out of the top 4, and Nick should be guaranteed top 4. And we'll have to see what happens. You know, we have a lot of players here. They could choose whether to play it out or split. Again, if I had to guess, I'll be completely honest with you guys. I think they're going to split, but I have no idea. If they choose to play, I will be right back and tell you that they're playing, and we're going to be bringing you those games. Otherwise, have a great holiday month. It's been fun casting for you, but don't go anywhere just yet. And if you're still here, do me a favor. Please share this stream around. Like it, subscribe to it. Again, this will probably be our last week or 2 on Twitch if you're here. So thank you for that. We'll probably be streaming almost exclusively on YouTube going forward. But if you can, make sure you like and subscribe and do all that good stuff and share it around. Definitely want to grow the channel, grow some viewers, and just have fun in the chat. Just have fun talking to you guys and bringing you great games of Flesh and Blood every single week. Something to watch when there isn't a big tournament going on. It's been super fun bringing this to you guys. But anyway, I'm going to throw it to the Be Right Back screen, and I will let you know whether or not there's a top 4. And of course, if there is a top 4, we will be bringing it to you. And either way, I'll let you know what the top 4 was in terms of heroes and split. Be right back. All right. I just want to thank you guys all for watching. They did decide to split, so I can give you the breakdown. So we had a Briar, we had the Briar, we had a Bravo, we had Icelander, and we had the Bolton. All decide to yeah. But they did decide to split. So it was Bolton, Briar, Icelander, and Bravo. All decided to split, and that was a pretty awesome top 4. And I just want to thank everyone for watching so far, or the stream.
Watch.
And also say this every time, if you are shopping for Flesh and Blood singles online, use thehaventabletop.com. Use promo code TEAMACG, save 10% on all singles. It's already great prices. They're already pretty much like TCG player, like what you would expect to see, and then you get 10% off of that. So it's a great deal, and something you can get right before the holidays. Get something for someone special. Get them a cold foil they don't have yet, or something like